Hello. Welcome to the Dealer to Healer podcast. Thank you so much for joining me. It's an absolute pleasure to have you listening to the show. This is going to be an amazing experience for me, hopefully for you guys. We've got some amazing guests coming up on the show. So what is the Dealer to Healer podcast? Well, what I want to get is gritty, honest stories from real people who've turned their lives around and stepped into a more love-filled life. People who've transformed, who've metamorphosized, going from the caterpillar into the butterfly, becoming the most beautiful version of themselves that they can be, stepping into the light. These are stories of awakening, people going from just normal existences to opening up to this spiritual world. But not always that. It might be something in the show where it's just like, I find this really interesting and I want to bring more light to it and want people to become more aware of this subject or this topic, and hopefully it can awaken something within you. So yes, that's what I'm trying to do with this show. Have you ever wondered what you should be doing with your life? Have a listen to this. These people that I've got on the show might be able to give you some insights into that. Why am I here? What's my purpose? These kind of questions we're going to be asking. You know, how do I know what is right for me? How do I listen to the signs? How do I show myself self-love, respect and care? And also that has a knock-on effect for me to become more conscious, more aware, more compassionate to everything around me. I want to help my listeners unleash their potential, step into the best version of themselves, overcome obstacles, smashing them out of the way, just to become an amazing person. So let go of what's holding you back. Embrace the ridicule that you will get from your friends and family for making positive changes because other people don't like it and they want you to stay exactly as you are. Sod that. Get on with it. Shine forth. Let the best version of yourself come through. And that's what we want to do on the Dealer to Healer podcast. We won't want you stuck in that dogma, in that quagmire. We want you out, shining like the lotus flower, growing from the mud into the most beautiful thing that you can be, the most beautiful expression of yourself. So that's what the Dealer to Healer podcast is all about. So I'm going to have yoga teachers, healers, people who've been suffering from diseases, psychics, acupuncturists, musicians, who's gone from, not having the best of lives to a more amazing life, and just showing you how you can achieve that yourself. See how you can make positive change in your life and relationships. Do all the things you've always dreamed of. Sod things that are holding you back. We can get past that. We can make your dreams become a reality. It's that simple. So who am I? Why am I qualified to do this? Well, my name is Liam Brown. I'm a writer, actor, musician, yoga teacher, traveller and adventurer from Manchester, which is in the north of England. I've been on a pretty epic journey, kind of like the last 8 to 9 years, and I've wrote a book about it called Dealer to Healer, which is documenting my struggles through life to become a better version of myself and how I've gone about that, going from being around domestic violence, abuse, depression, addiction, all these different things that I've had to battle through in my life. And the book just expresses this in a true, gritty, humorous, there's some mental stories in there about things that have happened that you wouldn't even believe, and you probably think it's fiction, but it actually really did happen. So yeah, my book, get over to Amazon, it's on there, Dealer to Healer, a modern tale of a fucked up male. Like, I'm not saying I've got everything together. I'm not saying I'm the complete version, I'm enlightened. All I'm saying is from where I was to what I am now is a massive difference. And I'm interviewing people who've also made that leap, who've took faith in something else, who've let go of their old self, of their old conditioning, and moved into the light, moved into more positivity, more love, more happiness, more laughter. So the book is called Dealer to Healer. You can get it on Amazon, on Kindle, you can get it printed. Please buy it printed. Actually touch it, feel it. Here's a little picture of me on the front there. It's quite nice. 7 years I've been working on this book. There's been so many challenges for me in actually finally getting it published. So much self-doubt, so much lack of confidence, lack of thinking, who am I to write a book? I'm dyslexic. I got a D in English. How can I write a book? It's going to be ridiculed. People are going to laugh at me. People are going to think it's ridiculous. People aren't going to believe my stories. People are going to get upset with me for sharing stories. I might get in trouble with the police because of things that I've done. Just all this, barrage of abuse of why I shouldn't be doing something, when actually, when I look into the light, this is something that I was driven towards. All the signs were there, all the synchronicities. I should have released this book 5 years ago, man. God. But yes, it's finally there, and I'm so happy to be putting it out. I'm so happy with the final product, and I'm so happy with the responses that I've had. The reviews that I've had have just been incredible. I'll read you a couple now. So this is a review from Heather Crozier. This book literally changed my life. I emphasised and resonated with every emotion that Liam felt, and it made me realise that I had to make some big changes. The people in the book were described in such a way that I felt as though I was actually there. I laughed and cried almost simultaneously, and some of the situations Liam found himself in were almost surreal. The best thing about this book is that it's real, hard-hitting, and the reader is able to join him on his journey. I could not put this book down and felt almost empty when it was finished. Certainly left wanting the next few chapters of Liam's life. You must read it. Another one from Joanne Craven. I absolutely love Dealer to Healer, a memoir that reads like the craziest adventure novel. It's a book you will likely never forget. Liam Brown's adventures and insights challenge so many elements of the world so many people take for granted. They couldn't be more timely. This is a book that will make you laugh, will make you cry, and above all, will make you think. Highly recommended. So yeah, the book, it's an adventure through life that hopefully will help you find greater meaning to your own. So are you struggling to find exactly what you're supposed to be doing with your life? Are you looking for some quirky inspiration? Well, get your head stuck into me book. It's just there on Amazon, Dealer to Healer. Go and have a look. Download it for free. I've got a discount on. First 5 days from the 11th of November until the 16th. It's free, absolutely free. I don't want any money for it. Please, though, leave me a review. That'd be cracking. Then the price is going to go up, so get it quickly. You can buy the print version, though. Obviously, there's no discount on that because it's got to be made. You can even buy the audio book, so you don't even have to read it. You just listen to it with your ears. If you want to be part of the adventure, get on Amazon, scroll up, add it to your cart. That would be epic. Anything else Liam Brown related, www.liambrown.com. You can see what I'm up to on there. You can follow me on Instagram. You can follow me on YouTube. All the links are on the website. So that would be amazing. You can see when I'm teaching yoga in Manchester. I'm just trying to start a movement with this book. My mission is to make everybody become the best version of themselves, to get rid of fear, to get rid of things that are holding them back, to step in to their light, to become the best, most beautiful version of themselves, to be shining everywhere they go, their heart to be open, to just everything in the universe that is theirs to just be flooding into them. So all my guests are just super human beings, and I'm so privileged to have them. Today's show is sponsored by Yoga Life, which is a yoga studio and a community. They have studios in Poynton, Audley Edge, Wilmslow and Altrincham. The owner, a guy called Stuart Pilkington, I went to school with. He's actually in the year below me. Yeah, I just remember him as this scraggly-haired, skinny little kid, and now he's this beautiful Adonis of a man who is helping so many people and shining so much light. He's sparkling. I'll hand you over to our conversation. Here we go. Hope you enjoy the show. Thank you for listening. Please keep listening. Have a lovely day. You to bless my soul. This is the Dealer to Healer podcast. I'm your host, Liam Brown. Today we have got an amazing guest. As part of my positive male role model section of my podcast, I wanted to get 3 really positive male role models that I know about, that I find inspiring, and get them on the show, get them talking, because I think what a lot of men are struggling with is these positive male role models in their life. So hopefully you can get some inspiration from these guys I've got on the show. Today we've got an amazing guy. He's the owner of Yoga Life, which is a yoga studio, Manchester, Cheshire area, Wilmslow, Altrincham, Audley Edge, Poynton. He's a family man. He's got 3 kids. He's an amazing father. He's this fitness guru. He's a very sexy male as well. So watch it on YouTube if you're not watching it on YouTube already. He's a hot man. And yeah, I went to school with him, and it's amazing to have a conversation like,
how many years?
20 years? 22 years ago.
2 decades.
And we've not really connected in that time, but I've just kind of seen you from a distance. So, ladies and gentlemen, welcome, Stuart Pilkington.
How are you, dude?
Good, mate. How are you?
Yeah, good, man. I've done that introduction a bit.
It's all true, though, mate. It's all true.
I should know. Yeah, good, man. Yeah, good. Yeah, thanks for having us on, dude. This is mega.
Really appreciate you being and taking the time, man.
Cool,
we just seen outside your studio in Wimslow, and it's a pretty epic space, and I've been to your studios in Aldringham, and how's all that going?
You know what, mate? We're in the kind of climate that the world's in at the moment, and the economy, and like people becoming less and less connected. We're so lucky to have like Yoga Life as it is. It's just been, for a lot of people who come, but for anyone who works there, it's just like a little beacon of light for all of us. Do you know what I mean? Like, I love it. Love everything about everything it's done. Everyone who's involved there. I can genuinely, hand on heart, say it's just a pretty cool place. I'm just happy to be one of the people part of it.
And you set it up, right?
Yeah. We say it's a funny thing with yoga, like, it's kind of like, as we were saying before we started, we never really communicated where it came from that much. Or maybe we did at the start and then it's kind of faded out. We're like six years in and stuff. But because it's become so much more than that, it's become more than kind of one person or an owner, or it's become a community, but it's become a little bit of like a hub for people in this area to kind of draw to. So instead of me, I don't ever feel like I own it. I just always feel like I'm part of it. And in fact, that's one of our kind of fundamental things when we get new teachers come on board. One of the main things we're communicating to them is that, members don't go to Yoga Life. They're not coming to us. They are Yoga Life. They are part of this thing, and we're just part of this, whatever this thing is, and wherever this thing continues to go to, just we're part of it. We don't own it.
You're facilitating.
It's just become like a bit of a thing that we all kind of grouped together, and it's just moving forward. And sometimes it doesn't. Sorry, dude. And sometimes it feels like that. Do you know what I mean? As we've started to expand now, it feels like you're sometimes holding on for dear life to go. It's amazing, this ride. I don't kind of really know exactly where it's all, the end point and where it's going. Hopefully there's never an end point. It just keeps evolving and transforming and growing into something more. But then the great thing about that is, again, going back to, I don't feel it's mine. I don't feel a huge attachment to it. So that means I don't feel overprotective over it too much. It can feel more organic, and the way in which you kind of communicate and the way the relationships build with people who come to Yoga Life. It's not a work money thing at all. It feels different than that. It just feels like I'm turning up to see a group of people like 5-6 times a week. That's it. It's just brilliant. Do you know what I mean? I love it. Super happy to be part of it, proud of it.
And that's amazing, man. Like my hands go up to all people who are opening yoga studios. It's like such an amazing, like a pivotal part of our communities now, because it didn't exist like 15 years ago. It was just like, where did you go in the UK? It was very, very few yoga studios, and for me, nobody goes to church in England anymore. Nobody that I know. And it's like we lost all that kind of connection to anything spiritual, anything that checked our behaviour. And now with this yoga movement, which for me are becoming a little bit like churches, you know what I mean? I don't mean in sort of like the dogmatic way,
they become
but just a space for us to
go. It's where people can go. Exactly that. Like, the teachers are great and the practices are great, and all the technical stuff can be brilliant, but really the gold, the real treasure of yoga is that community, that it connects people from. And it's it's the equalizer as well, isn't it? You don't walk into a yoga studio. A little bit it's crept into what yoga mat you've got on your tats and all that sort of stuff. It's really good for expressing yourself. You might work in a suit all week, and then you come to a yoga class. We get it in our studio with guys, so I know their jobs, like businessmen, accountants, and all that sort of stuff. And then they'll come males in bright pink tights. Do you know what I mean? So it's their little moment to be Bowie, or Jagger or something. Themselves. So that's brilliant. But more than anything else, it's exactly what you were saying. It's a place where you can do two things. You can go to connect to other humans, which we're lacking. That's
like-minded humans most of the time as well, which is good.
And people, that's the knee there, the knee injury coming forward. Or also you can just go as a little bit of escapism in a positive way. So if you think of all the things that we classically are bombarded with as escapism, social media, TV, alcohol, drugs, prescription drugs. Sex. So that's your sex, that's your escapism. Gambling, do you know what I mean? All things that are fine, but have quite a few negative connotations to them, and do you know what I mean, lead a lot of people down a troubled path. And I've been in all those situations. I mean, that's where I came from, sort of thing.
That's what we'll be talking about soon, brother. I don't know where you come from. Do you know what I mean? That's
where a lot of us, in some way or another, when you find yoga, you find it usually because of those things, and then all of a sudden you've now got somewhere else to go to that doesn't have really any of those negative. It's an escapism without all the negative connotations that most escapism has. I'm escaping for a few moments for all the things that I'm contending with all the time, and I walk in that studio and that door closes, and for a moment life gets to pause. And it's not, the great thing is, it's not me running away from my problems. It's not me going, I don't want to deal with that anymore. And it's not that. It's just giving you a chance to go, right, pause for a minute, stop, let's just gather ourselves, chill out. If you don't want to speak to anyone, that's cool. It's dark in there. It's quiet. Everyone, you know, the manner of the practice in particular is you're going to be on your own for 60 minutes. First of all, be ready for that. That's going to be tricky stuff.
You're on your mat.
But you're on your own. Do you know what I mean? You're there. But you're on your own with everybody else. That's the magic of it. Do you know what I mean? You're not walking into a room on your own. It's there's a Richard Ashcroft album, his first solo album, which I always steal the title of it for yoga. You're alone with everybody else, or alone with everyone. I think it's called something like that. That's what you are. So, but that's the great equalizer and connector. Do you know what I mean? We're all in this together. We're all in our own space, but I've got the confidence that I'm part of this common unity, this community, that I feel I belong to something. So it's my escapism in a really positive way, but I'm connected to people as well without the need to go, what's your name, who you are, all that stuff. So not everyone wants to give away that information. Not everybody wants that, but you can do.
And with you talking about that, it sort of reminds me of it. It's very similar to the pub. Do you know what I mean? The social, because you can go in the pub and have a pint. Like, probably similar for you, but when I was a kid, the only place we went was the pub. There was nowhere else to connect. There was nowhere else that we connected. It was a pub or a club. Do you know what I mean? Or maybe the football club, but it still involved alcohol. It was always alcohol was everywhere. And yoga gives you that space to go to where there ain't going to be any alcohol. You might get a coconut water or a herbal tea and a bit of fruit, but there's not going to be, you know, for most people in a social situation, alcohol's there and they feel obliged to drink it, you know, and sometimes they don't even want to. And it's just fascinating, you know, coming into this age of Aquarius where everything's changed around and people it's still masculine, it's nothing, we're not going into this age of feminine. Give over, man. The amount of pubs that have disappeared, the amount of leisure centres that have, the amount of blokes that are looking after the health, it's gone totally towards the feminine. And that's an amazing, you know, it's an amazing thing. And it's so good to watch.
Just the fact of, like you were saying, it's the shift in mindset for people to go, actually, I'm going to properly look after myself. That's an all right thing to do. That's a worthy pursuit now. And look after myself in a positive way, not look after myself in a way of, and we've still got a little bit of this. I think that's the next movement that kind of yoga and spirituality is going to help us with, that you're going to aim to get fitter and healthier and stronger, be in these positive environments without needing to judge yourself from being in these environments. Do you know what I mean? So I always say that yoga's not trying to, and it's another one of the gold treasures of yoga. Yoga in your yoga studio isn't trying to change you. And that the primary goal of yoga is self-realization.
It's changing yourself.
It's just getting you to remember who you were. That's who you are. Do you know what I mean? All those other things that we become are all learned behaviour. Do you know what I mean? When you look at kids, I always look at particularly the two youngest. I've got 3 kids, but the 2 youngest. And you look at their behaviour and you go, that's what I am. That's their behaviour. Always playing, always happy, never self-conscious, completely living in the moment. You know, all the beautiful things of human nature. There's no hate in there. There's no spite. There's no
racism. There's no sexism.
There's fear isn't there until you start noticing your imprints on your kids. You know, and they go, oh, spiders, and you go, oh God, right? Who's scared of spiders in the family? Because they're now thinking they're scared of spiders. So everything that we've got, all these other aspects of our being, we've learned them. They're all learned. So yoga's just getting you to go, no, that's who you are. That's who you are. That person there. You're that person. You're that person who's super amazing, fucking beautiful, crazy human. That's who you actually are. Just realise it. That's it.
Just the art of remembering, getting rid of shedding all that shit, all that layering, all that crap that's happened to you when you was a kid, all the social conditioning, all the things that are expected of
with,
you. I should have a kid at this age.
I should do that, and I've got to do that, and then relationship, I've got to get married now, and I've got to do that, and I've got to do that, and I've got to do that.
It's a lot, man, to take in.
Oh, loads. And you again, and there's lots of things that do this. I always think dance is brilliant. You're into dance, aren't you, and stuff, things. But dance is similar to yoga. The fact that it gives you that communal environment, you're lost in the moment, you're in your own space, but you're connecting with people and stuff. And it's one of the... we don't see enough of that with what's being projected back at society. Society is all about, you've got to be number one. That's the only important thing is you being number one. That's it. You being better than all these other people, and at really any cost. That's what it is. That's mental.
That's capitalism.
That's what we're promoting. Do you know what I mean? You're going, this is mental. This is what we're bombarding people with, and you can't help but, I talked about to people go, you look in stuff too much, you said, but that's the truth. That's what you're being brainwashed and fed all the time.
Or you're wanting to just disappear from and avoid.
Exactly, So how much time are you spending the opposite of that? How much time are you spending in a non-competitive environment with people you connect with? How much? None. None, actually. I'm not my life's revolving around, I'm watching competitive stuff. My job's super competitive. So I'm just constantly, and then the TV's telling me everyone's a racist, homophobic, sexist, horrible person with a knife, and every kid's got a knife and a hoodie. Do you know what I mean? It's it's not true. People are inherently good. Do you know what I mean? You just need to be reminded of that. And it sounds a bit crazy saying a yoga studio reminds you of that. It does. It does. You go to a yoga studio because none of those things are there. And for an hour of space, people have been able to, like you said, peel away all that stuff so the real person's there. And you chat to someone at the end of a yoga class, or you chat to everyone in the room, you'll come out going, they're all right. Those people are all right.
So what have you been up to? What have you been doing? I've seen you've been here, there and everywhere. What's been going on?
Right. So let's go from school.
No. Tell me what you've been up to.
Recently?
Recently, yeah. Then I'll take you back there.
All right, So Yoga Life, mate, is babies. So personal life, having more kids, trying to grow the family and stuff. And then with Yoga Life, we're at a place where we're happy with what we've got, and we're just trying to...
4 studios, yeah?
4 studios, and we're just trying to expand to do other things. Even this room, kind of like we're using now, we've kind of been looking at venues. We want to move into events, but well-being events more than kind of yoga events, where we get people like yourself, people who've been on journeys to share their journey. I was just a few different yoga events that I've been to. The things that the classes were great. You go to like yoga festival and stuff and you go, that's a good class. But the magic of that stuff is when someone's just talking about their experience and you're like, either I've not experienced any of that, so it's brilliant to learn about someone who's had a completely different life experience than me, and what led him to that life experience, and then
and what you can take of that,
and what you can take of that, and how that relates back to you. Whether it's that you feel super inspired by that person, or super grateful for how lucky you were and stuff,
or
things like that.
It can make you resonate that I'm not on my own. I'm not weird.
That's me.
You know what I mean?
I went through some of that stuff. So, and that's where I kind of that's our big thing at the minute. That's what recently, as in the last couple of days. That's been a big thing. And looking at venues and going, what could we do just to, because we've got such a big catchment now. And like you said, there's other studios around here, and there's other yoga teachers, and loads of gyms have yoga teachers and stuff. And the yoga community and the greater kind of well-being community and stuff, like loads of people are going into like making their own food and snacks and health snacks. There's a massive shift in movement in all kind of related fields next to yoga and spirituality and health and stuff. But not to make anything out of it, just bring loads of people together. Do you know what I mean? For a day, but a festival or event of some kind where it is just that really. You're just trying to connect people. So I'm not going to massively try and promote the studio too much. I'm not there to sell you a membership or any of that sort of stuff. There's not a massive ulterior motive with any of that stuff.
So this is a festival you're going to set up?
Yeah, we've just been thinking about it. Me and Gareth, who's like my business partner, we've been thinking about it for like 2 years. But then I always fall into... And we've done a few things like this before, and it always slips into a bit which is fine, a bit of a promotional tool, and then people end up just going to classes and they want to do a yoga class and stuff, and it's kind of like, well, you do yoga class all the time. Do you know what I mean? You go to the gym all the time. I want it to be more than that.
Speakers, man.
Yeah,
dancing,
speakers and
mantra,
connect. You know, all that other stuff. And even, it sounds quite Americana sometimes, but we've been doing it at Yoga Life, particularly teacher training, and even in class at our workshops now, we did something for the autumn equinox where we talk about letting go. We said one of the main things, before you can let go of something, you need to have power. So it's hard to let go of stuff, so you need to have personal power, and personal power comes from self-acceptance, and self-acceptance comes from self-love. So you've got to love yourself. So you're going to now think of one thing that you love about yourself, and then you can see a few people like the shoulders rise a little bit because it's uncomfortable, that, do you know what I mean? And then we wake them all up, and then we go, right, lights on. Turn to the person behind you, tell them what you love about yourself. And everyone just turns to you. They're all adults, do you know? And everyone turns to you and they're like, oh, no, I'm not doing that. And then you hear the word like. So I kind of like, no. What
do you like?
What do you love about yourself? What do you love about yourself? Tell that person how great you are. What you love about. So it's something like that. And you kind of sat back, and we was like filming bits of it, and I was chatting to some people. Some people were crying. Do you know what I mean? People were going, I've never said that to myself. I've never said it to another person, a stranger and stuff. And that was only a week last Saturday, and I sat there thinking, that's the event you want. Do you know what I mean? What the yoga was great. Like Karen's one of the teachers, she's incredible and stuff. And I taught a bit of flow and things like that. But the best part of the whole 2.5 hours was that 10 minutes. Do you know what I mean?
They're the nuggets that people get when you actually sitting down and go, you know, what do you want to get rid of in your life, or what do you want to bring in? And you know, what do you think's holding you back, and what do you want to express more? What do you want to come forward more in your personality that you think will take you to where you want to be? You know. And you know, they are the nuggets of wisdom, and that's what we're trying to do in this show. And what hopefully we'll get from this conversation is, on your journey, what were those teachings that you just like will never forget? You know what I mean? And that's what we're going to try and talk about. So where was that you were teaching at? Was that the Yoga show?
No. So that was ours. We did the autumn equinox like 2 weeks ago.
But you've been teaching at you've had teacher training.
Yes, we have had teacher training. We're on our current teacher training school now, so like 200 hours. So I knew a lot of students.
Cool.
So we use some of those techniques there now. So we get them, all right, you're learning all this great information and philosophy, and you're learning, you know, all these different aspects of yoga and practices. That's brilliant. But it becomes a bit information overload. Do you know what I mean? So, and then what happens with information overload is it becomes a bit like it's an anxious experience, because I'm watching someone, I'm listening to someone give us a talk or a speech, and I'm going to get an exam on this, so I've got to remember that, and I've got to make my notes, and I've got to do that, and you're enjoying it, but there's always that little bit of angst and stuff. And then what I've found on previous teacher training courses, there's just so much to learn with yoga. Do you know what I mean? 200 hour teacher training course, you don't even touch 0.5%. Do you know what I mean?
Well, it used to be 7 years, didn't it?
There's just so much. And then naturally what happens is you don't really become mindful of the experience, and as a personal experience, you just a bit like what I think, and not to have a go at the education system, but from my experience of my kids going through the education system, particularly high school, it's turned into a bit like, right, we've got to get you an A to C, so just memorise that and then write it down on that paper. Memorise that, write it down on that paper. Memorise that. Don't learn how to apply it. Don't process it. Don't think out. Don't disagree with it. Don't disagree with that. Just memorise it, write down that piece of paper. You'll get an A to C. You'll get a pass. We'll get a better grade, and our school will get more funding.
And do not have an opinion.
It's just like
whatever you do.
I found that the teacher training school is drifting a bit like that, where people are going, is this on the exam? Have I got to learn that for the exam? We're like, that's kind of not important. Passing an exam isn't really going to mean anything about being a yoga teacher, whether you pass an exam or not. It's kind of almost irrelevant. So what we do now are those techniques of going, right, you're going to connect with someone, you're going to talk about the real stuff, what you love about yourself. You know, random things. We have loads of little things written down, but the idea of them is that break you off in groups of 3 or 4, and you've just learnt all that stuff. Right, let's get all that stuff out the way. Right, now just talk about what you do if there was no boundaries, if there's no limitations. Tell each other what's your dreams. What were you doing? Where did you vision yourself to be? Do you journal? What was your journal about this? You know, so all those things. And that's, again, going back to the event, that's what I want to get out of the event. That's what I always think I get out of. We're fortunate with Yoga Life has naturally turned into that. Do you know what I mean? Most people who come to the studio say that's their social network, that's their group of friends. Do you know what I mean? I always say with my mates who I love dearly and stuff, but I spend more time with my Yoga Life family than I do anyone else outside of my immediate family. That's like, and I enjoy that. Do you know what I mean? That's what, when I'm tired and I've had to do it, it's going in and speaking to, you know, Lynn, Dave and Paul and Damon, all those sort of people. You go, flipping out, and I get this to do as a job, man. This is you know, I'm not on the front line. I get to teach people how to stretch and breathe, which is pretty much what it is, and to relax. And I get to chat to you like, this is mega.
And to see positive changes in your students, you know, see growth.
Brilliant.
That must be
man.
The best thing.
But it's those bits. Bits. Not. I don't think I've ever come out or really come out of a session going, oh, brilliant. Like, I really taught them how to go into Virabhadrasana well. And, you know, they're really getting into the splits and stuff. Like, I'm just not really... I know, let's do that with students, they'll tell us. But it's more going, oh, God, you know, like, I really had a good conversation with those. And because they haven't spoke to before. And someone's come up to us and said how much they love being here. And it's changing. Like, you know, it's all that stuff. You go, that's the magic of yoga, man. That's like... And the connection in humans. You know, that's our magic that we have.
And if you, like, quote something and someone comes, or you said, and someone comes up to you and go, oh, I really... like connect that with something in my life that I need to adjust, or that just resonates, that touched me, you know what I mean? And that's the beauty of being in a yoga, well, being a teacher, I guess. But that's incredible. So Yoga Life, how can we connect with you? Social media, website?
Social media, go to like kind of main website, yogalifeuk.com, and then all the other studios and everything we do in the retreats. And when your business is in social media, you have a funny relationship with it, because then it's like, I'm doing this for work and stuff now, and then it loses a little bit of its enjoyment. Do you know what I mean? So that's one thing I've got to work on a little bit more, I think, to find the enjoyment in projecting stuff out there. Do you know, because that's my connection with people.
And it's helping
instead of being a little peeker.
It's not like you're projecting, like, you know,
bad stuff. Do you know what I mean? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. So, but social media, like, and all our team on there, like some of our teachers, like, incredible, like, you know, they put amazing yoga flows out there that you can just watch, do at home.
Yeah, the classes, all your teachers are incredible.
Yeah, the top, you know.
Really top draw teachers.
The top.
So, what have you guys got coming up in the kind of December, January? What can they find for you for next year?
Hopefully this event, right? So hopefully, we're thinking that event that was mentioning, we're hoping we can do that end of November, maybe. We're trying to pull it all together now. Use this room, get a massive space where there'll be... And, you know, you've been to ecstatic dance stuff. You're into that, aren't you?
Yeah, man.
But, like, there's so many people who I know would love it. I know it. Like at the end of my class, we do a little bit for you. You have to close your eyes and you dance a little bit and stuff. And over the last few weeks, we've done some class, right? You've got to stand up and dance. You've got to stand up. No one's watching. All the lights are out. Just kind of dance. And you see people kind of like, I'm not having any of this. And you just go, listen, we ain't stopping until you at least move a little bit. And then you just see them like lost and you go, you would love ecstatic dance. Like, you would love just being out of your mind, like having to go, you know, being... Sometimes you have to be a bit forced into it. Do you know what I mean?
Well, I think the first...
So I want to do a bit of that.
First times I went to ecstatic dance, I just was like... I felt like it was a load of weirdos. You know, that Fatboy Slim video where they're all
And
I was like, right, okay, how do I do this? Because I remember when I first started doing yoga outdoors, and I had to tell myself that it was just as normal as kicking up a football. Because nobody would have looked at me weirding apart for kicking a football, because everyone was looking at me like I was a nutcase. So when I started the ecstatic dance, I was like, right, just pretend you've took a pill. I'm just going to pretend I've took a pill. Forget about everything. Just let me head go. It's incredible. And now I just go there and I go with my friends sometimes. And I go, right, see you in a bit. Like, I'm not with them. I'm in my own thing. Space. And like, I know that they're there and we get a smile every now and again, but I'm not like when you go out clubbing with your mates, you're all together. Yeah,
you're in that group.
Yeah, and you're like, you're dancing together.
Eyeballing everyone, and there's always, you're
worried about when you've lost your mate.
Yeah, and there's always a bit of an atmosphere over there. Tension, there's always a group over there, and you're a bit like, you like, not avoid them. It's none of that, is there?
No, it's great.
So that's our thing coming up. So hopefully 30th of November.
Wicked.
We'll hopefully have that over the next few weeks.
So watch this space.
It'll be mega.
I'll be there. We'll be there.
Stuff.
So you Fern Cotton. You connected with Fern Cotton.
That was the last festival we did.
Was that you? So you've been teaching at festivals all summer?
Yeah, so teaching like Omshow, like a few different festivals. Gareth's business partner, he actually taught at festival.
Yeah,
and
amazing.
Yeah, like mega. Like as an experience to teach and again to connect with people, brilliant. The Fern Cotton thing was brilliant. Like brilliant. Fern Cotton, all of them have been great.
Hasn't she? She does the Happy Space.
Yeah. That's what. And you know what? I
didn't even know she'd had this, this transformation and all this good stuff that she was doing.
And it was actually Louise, my partner. She's followed her a little bit because she does stuff on motherhood and things like that as well. And Louise's sister, who's a child psychologist and CBT therapist and stuff, really follows her because of her journey, this change and things. Anyway, so we got asked to do it. And again, we just kind of thought it was a bit of a festival, and it's always a side note. So there's a festival, does all this stuff, and then we'll dump the yoga people in the corner just to say we've kind of got yoga, and people aren't really into it, and sometimes everyone's off the face and stuff. Where with these last few we've done, the Fern Cotton thing, it was like centerpiece that people were going there to practice yoga and to listen to people and listen to talks and stuff. And we actually had teacher training that weekend, so I didn't get to do anyone else's yoga class, taught a couple of classes, but I got to jump in on listening to some of the meditation sessions and some of the talks. And again, that was the thing I was saying, that's the gold of all those stuff. Do you know what I mean? I missed Ferns, but my sister-in-law went to Ferns. She said it was brilliant, it was incredible. And
what was that called? What was the festival called?
So is that Happy Space? That's her kind of her brand and stuff. Yeah.
Right, okay, awesome.
And she had loads of great speakers. I think Russell Brand was doing a talk there on the Sunday, I think, stuff like that. But what was great about it was the fact that there was people who you could identify with. Everyone knows who Fern Cotton is. And I think there was a couple of Olympians there, I can't think. But instead of them just kind of teaching a class, they were actually sharing a personal story. So you were like flipping really connected to those people. And like celebrities are quite ethereal in some ways. They're always kind of just a bit out your grasp, aren't they? So when you actually, they get to speak from the heart personally, not from a script and on camera, you could just feel like I was on the periphery of some of these talks and people were like intently listening, and the information that they were giving about life stories, and there was people talking about being bullied and anxiety and depression and growing up in areas where they were the only ethnic minority and what they had to live through in the 70s. You were going, God, this is like hitting people. This is like, like a bit of a slap in the face to people. This is mega and stuff. And you could feel it in the room, there were people crying and stuff, but in good ways and things. So that was a brilliant festival, mega. And then there was another one, I've done loads, but Holistic, who were kind of two friends of mine who've become like friends of mine now. That was at Victoria Baths in Manchester. That's on once a year. Brilliant festival. Incredible festival. They bring people over from India, teach over from India. Amazing. So the people that you connect with and the friends that I've got from kind of this circuit now, that's the other thing I love. I've got like yoga friends in London and in India now. I've met more people and we're kind of all sharing our communities and doing a bit more work together and connecting a little bit more together. I had a few up teaching at teacher training and again just sharing their story and stuff. So those are the two. There's, like I said, there's loads, and I'm probably doing a disservice to the others. But Holistic Manchester and Fern Cotton's Happy Space, they were brilliant. Like awesome. to look out whenever their dates are next year.
Have to check them out next year.
Get involved in them.
And that's you talking about your business partner teaching at Festival, and I think it was what's that other festival? It's a festival, and basically the people who opened the festival was an ayahuasca shaman with a group of people that she does. She has as her assistant. So it was like this kind of spiritual thing is now getting more into the mainstream. This is a mainstream festival, and they opened it because the guys So the guys who run the festival, they went to one of her ayahuasca retreats and were like, "This is incredible. Can you come and open the festival?" So it's like that is getting into the mainstream now is just crazy.
Just the fact I think of that people are more open to those experiences, because if you're not into that stuff, that's brilliant too. That's all right. You might not be into yoga, you might not be into all these other things, but the fact that people are more open to try it and then go, it's not right for me right now. Maybe not right now, but previously people just wouldn't go near any of that stuff. It was kind of sniggered at, or when I first started practicing yoga, I didn't tell anyone. for years. Like, even when I qualified as a teacher, because I didn't teach it, I just wanted to learn about yoga. Didn't teach it. I think it was like 2 years. Like, I just carried on doing what I was doing because I was a bit embarrassed of it. Do you know what I mean? I was a bit like, oh, people are going to think I've like lost my mind a little bit, and you know, I've gone too far away from the like partying and all the stuff that I was coming away from and things. Where now, it's not weird. So you go, well, everyone knows someone who goes to yoga.
And nobody asks.
Everyone knows someone who already does, or who has some form of what we would kind of deem a spiritual practice or mindful practice or practicing meditation. Someone knows someone who's going down that field, has become vegetarian or vegan or something. Do you know what I mean? Who's made these big scale life changes. Everyone knows someone, so it's there now.
And you're not getting asked what's yoga anymore. Like, the amount of years you were getting asked what's yoga, what is it? What is it? And you're like, and then people, like, I've been asked by people, like when I was with my ex-girlfriend, who's better out of you two at yoga? And I'm like, no, that's not what it is. That's nothing like the asana practice is just nothing to do with what yoga is. It's like, who's the most enlightened, who's done the most work on themselves, or that's where am I at, how am I? You kind of, if you were to compare it, it's like, who's a nicer person? Who's being a nicer person to those, everyone around them and to themselves? Who's being the best expression of themselves? It's not about if I can do a fucking handstand on. And a lot of the mainstream, which is, it's good that it's in the consciousness now, but a lot of people are still stuck into this kind of doing arm balance. But
it'll shift that, I think. Do you know what I mean? That's like, I think the physical. And you're probably doing America a disservice, but it just seems like an American thing, doesn't it? Do you know what I mean? And we do it, we put picture up of arm balances and all that other stuff. But I'm always kind of super aware and mindful of when I'm in class and I teach some of that stuff. And you slip into it as a teacher, high-fiving, going, brilliant handstand, brilliant. And then someone in the room's obviously looking at that like a child's, like congratulating one child. And the other child's there who's still struggling, counting up to 10, is thinking, well, I'm not getting congratulated, so I'm useless then. And it's a bit like that. And then obviously all the stuff that you kind of seen a little bit in social media, that posture and the yoga butt and the yoga body and all that sort of thing. And it's a good immersion for some people to go, all right, I'm going to get into yoga to get fit and strong and healthy and tone up and all that other stuff. But hopefully they stick with it long enough and they find a studio and teacher who they connect to enough to move beyond all that. And then it's this whole other world opens up. Do you know what I mean? Where the physical stuff's brilliant, but it's just one tiny little aspect of and
we're doing the physical stuff to open channels of our consciousness
to do all the other stuff. Yeah.
Amazing, mate. Like going away from kind of your yoga. Well, we're going to come back to the yoga stuff, but how did it all come about? Like, go back for me. Go back. What was going on? What was it like growing up? Was there anything spiritual in your life and your family?
Super. So my two parents. I had one who was super political, dad, who'd been brought up in a religious family and then had massively turned against it for a period. And he's kind of his opinions now more middle ground and stuff. But when I was younger, he didn't stop us having a religion, but he didn't practice anything. I think he would call himself atheist back then, and he was super political, Labour man, out on marches, and I took a lot of that from him, like quite a lot of massive political nature in me. And I kind of always want to be out with a picket flag sign or something. So I've got that from him. Then my mum was the opposite. So my mum had no relationship with politics, because the Bible, she believed the Bible told you not to not be bothered with stuff like that. And she was religious, like super, but it was, I would say, super religious in the fact that my family lived by all the moral values, which I'm super happy with, that religion gave to them, but without the need of, as soon as we were old enough and we didn't want to do it anymore, didn't have to do it. Do you know what I mean? That was it. But up until that point, it was that you would, learn them all, and some of the discipline as well. Like we were encouraged to kind of read the Bible every night before bed. Do you know what I mean? And you just start from Genesis and you'd work all the way through Revelation. You'd have black texts and books to help you understand it a little bit more. But again, when you say that, it was like, God, you must have lived a house where everyone was like over the top religious, and it wasn't like our house was super chilled. Do you know what I mean? It was just that I had a mum who and does still believe wholeheartedly with all the heart and soul in Abrahamic faith God, Yahweh, Jehovah, whatever you call them stuff, Christianity God, the God of Jesus, and wholeheartedly believes in that if you live your life by the moral codes in there, you will live a more harmonious, happy life. Yeah. It's mega.
Is that like 10 Commandments kind of?
No, it's more, you know what? More, no. So like it was more the teachings, what I took from it, now reviewing it back with my mum and stuff, it was more kind of the moral values of Jesus, really, and stuff, which is a yoga thing anyway. Totally, do you know what I mean? Yoga have taken Jesus back, haven't they, as one of their guys. But
took him back off them.
He came to the east, didn't he? Do you know what I mean? That's where he got his knowledge from.
Is he allowed brown skin again?
Yeah, I know, yeah, not yet, I don't think, He's still got blue eyes, still 6'2", beautifully long conditioned hair, do you know what I mean? Funny, isn't it? Yeah, manicured beard and all that sort of stuff. But it was just more the moral values of how to live and treat people. And there were some things in there that, as I came away from it as a teenager, that I was really I was uncomfortable with, particularly things of not to look at other religions, and other religions aren't the real religion stuff and things like that. And not that my mum kind of held that with like an iron fist and stuff, but when you went to sermons and meetings and talks and stuff, that's pretty much what they were instructing. And I was over the opinion of, surely we should investigate everything. Do you know what I mean? Because maybe this is right, maybe it's not, or maybe there's more to the story and stuff. And then I found that what happened was I got to maybe 13, 14, and then discovered... maybe a bit older, 15, 16, discovered hallucinogenic drugs, which is always a way of then going, which you do, I think, when you have like maybe not everyone, but for me it was a bit like, I had a religious upbringing, which gave me all these moral values, but it was strict. Do you know what I mean? So it was, you weren't going to have sex before marriage, and you weren't going to take drugs, and you but all great things in there as well. There was loads of amazing great things. Treat people kindly, do the best that you can be. It was the good things far outweighed the negative things from that upbringing massively. But from the other stuff of to lead your life in a certain way, I started to get the opinion going, that genuinely don't make me happy living like that. So if I was to go to heaven or be born again or any of those things that all the kind of religions have, and I was having to live that way, well, I wouldn't enjoy it. So I don't see the point in it, because I'd be living a lie for eternity then, which would be horrendous. Do you know what I mean? And if everything does exist, I'd probably rather not be in that reality sort of thing. And then I just found that I really connected with hallucinogenics massively. And kind of, because I always felt, and then out of that, well, just fast forward it a little bit further, because that'll probably explain a bit more. Because of that, I never really drank that much. I came away from religion completely. It's all nonsense. It means nothing. There is no God. It's all a big conspiracy, political plans to take money off us and all that sort of stuff. I was really, really against it for a period. And then, because I started getting more into the experience of hallucinogenics, just making me think and speak to people and connect to people. And I found that when I would take certain things, I would read loads of stuff, and I started reading Hinduism and Buddhism, and going back over Christianity and Gnosticism and lots of different things. And then that kind of ended when I fell into alcohol. So alcohol, which I have no problems with alcohol.
It's the worst drug.
Yeah, I just found I rarely had a good experience with it. Yeah. Rarely. Do you know? And there's nothing wrong if you have a good experience on it. It makes you connect with people. I can see its value, but I never really did. Like, do you know what I mean? It always seemed that drink would lead me to bad experiences and super bad decisions. When you kind of review it, and it was always when all the regret came in my late teens and stuff, and you'd be like. And then I had a child at 19, do you know what I mean? So that was the other thing. And it was alcohol was the one where you'd wake up the next day and you'd go, God, you're meant to be a dad. Like, you shouldn't be doing this. You should be in work. What you're going out getting pissed for and drinking. I won't get that with getting fit or eating healthy or even anything else that was doing stuff. But with alcohol, I did. So all the hallucinogenics stopped. Yeah, mainly out of, as well, child, got to grow up, got to do that sort of stuff. And then to stretch that journey out a little bit further, probably the group of mates I was with then, who were mega and stuff, but we were late teens, early 20s. So you were just doing what you do at your late teens and 20s. So
experimenting.
You were experimenting, having loads, sleeping with loads of people, being knobheads, treating people like crap a little bit sometimes, you know what I mean? The whole thing of, not to blame it on hormones, but then testosterone comes in, and you were, especially back then, this is like what, early 2000s, late 90s. So it was just a bit of a, I'm a guy and I'll put you down. And I was training loads and I was getting muscle. It was all about being a male, and getting, and it was, look, I'm glad of those experiences now because I learnt loads from him. Yeah. But look back on it now going, flipping out, like my life could have gone in a completely different direction at that point. And I think the thing that pulled me back was religion, spirituality. Funnily enough, and my daughter, Mia and stuff, as Mia was getting older, that you have spiritual experiences with kids. That's what I would explain it. Do you know what I mean? When you have moments of pure connection, look in their eyes, and there's nothing else. It's like the world stands still for a period of time, and similar but more heightened than what a yoga practice does for me. Do you know what I mean? It gives me this deep connection with life. I was connected to life, really connected to life, because you're life and I'm part of you and I created part of you, and all those sort of things. So then from that, I left behind then that group of friends that was like and it was done like that overnight. It was, there was just a few things that had led up to it. Drugs were getting darker. Yeah. And alcohol was turning into fighting.
You said that at the right time. Yeah. So what was that like?
The catalyst.
No, what was the pivotal moment where you just, because it's really hard to step away from friends. I've done it in a couple of occasions, but the people that aren't serving you. But when did you realise that it wasn't serving you? When did this being macho, being a dickhead, sleeping with people, doing loads of drugs?
You know what?
Was it specifically your daughter, or was there anything that sparked that? There
was a few things that had happened leading up to it, like nights out started turning violent. Do you know what I mean? Like flipping, there was always some aggro going on. Do you know what I mean?
We used to go out drinking. There was like, when you're young, you're in your early 20s, especially in Manchester, man. Yeah. There's just like aggression and edginess everywhere. It's gonna kick off at any moment, and we both were brought up in that. Like you went out with your mates, it was a good chance you were going to have a fight, or you were going to watch a fight. You know what I mean? It was just that's what's expected of you
all the time.
As young males, we were expected to go out drinking and get in trouble and be dickheads and try and have sex with as many girls as possible.
And it's glorified, isn't it? Do you know what I mean? Yeah. And again, I don't regret any of those experiences because it leads you to who you are now. But it just got more and more like that. Do you know what I mean? It got a bit more and more like that. And Mia was getting older, and it was just kind of, there was just a few really specific instances where you were like, I could have been in trouble here. Like I could have lost my life here actually. And I'm responsible for another human. Do you know what I mean? If I go, I'm leaving my child without one of the parents. Do you know what I mean? So it was a bit of that. And then luckily at the time, I had a series of really rubbish relationships, which was lucky because I think every time you go into you entered into a relationship and it was just full of, jealousy. It was just horrible. I don't like any of your friends. You don't like any of my friends. My friends don't like you. Your friends don't like me. I don't like you as a person. You don't like me as a person. But for some reason, I'm going to cling on to this relationship. These loads of jealousy. It was just horrible. But those kind of, every time a relationship would end, it was like another step away from that life. Yeah, and it was like, I need to get out I need to go away from that circle again because they're in that circle. So, and then what would happen is you'd get in another relationship with someone else similar to that circle, and then that'd end and it'd be another step away from it and another step away. And then eventually I kind of just went, this is it. I walked away from everything, all my friends, everything. I was personal trainer at the time. I stopped it, completely stopped it. And I had like a 6-month period where I wasn't working, I wasn't doing anything and stuff. And luckily I had like money in my account and like saved up and stuff, so I was living off that.
So what was you doing? Was you in a good headspace? Was you down,
it was a bit of a no. It was a good headspace in the sense of I was a little bit, looking back on it now, a little bit lost and stuff. And then this is when the weird mad thing happened out of this. So leading up to that point, I was just becoming more and more a bit of not me. I was becoming a bit more of a knobhead. Do you know what I mean? I was just getting louder and just a bit of a knob. Do you know what I mean? Anyway, during that,
but were you starting to become aware of you being a knob?
Massively. Do you know what I mean? Massively. And then, as I came away from that, weirdly, I got asked to do Big Brother.
Right.
So I went in Big Brother.
Right. I thought I did something about that, but I wasn't sure if that was like a fact or not.
No, yeah.
When was that?
Like 10 years ago or something.
Right, okay.
Or maybe longer. Right. So what had happened with that was, maybe 2 years before, I was this loud, partying, rah, 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 girls, rah, yeah,
so what, drugs, alcohol,
all that. Do you know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like you say, young Manchester lad and stuff and everything. So I'd have probably been a really good character for it. Do you know what I mean? Because I'd have been a bit of a knob in there. Anyway, during the time of, and then I didn't want to do it, so I didn't do it. So that was 1 year, and then I refused it at the last minute. And then I went through this final bad relationship, which was my final step away, and went, right, everything's got to change. So I'm stopping my business, stopping personal training, stopping going in those circles, and I need to get away from everything. Then what happened during that 6 months, a producer and you come and said, do you want to do it? Like, you can do it. This is your time to do it again. So then I was just a bit lost. Do you know what I mean? Like, for a period, and literally, it was a decision like this. Yeah, I'll do it. And then I went to London for like an interview. That was it. Did an interview in London. Came back out, but I was a different human from who they thought I was. Yeah. I'd already changed. I already wasn't loud. I'd just finished my yoga teacher training. I was already doing yoga at this stage, secretly, quietly. No one knew about it. I know. So I had like these two personas. I had this persona of this person who was going back to finding spirituality and religion and being a dad and practicing yoga on the quiet. And I had this other person who was kind of still pretending a little bit to be this super confident, arrogant, muscly, you know, Mr. Alpha male, sleeping with women, all that sort of stuff. I was still kind of that to some people, which is why I needed that break and get away from everyone. But then what happened was, didn't think anything of it. And then, so I didn't think I was going in, never thought anything of it. I was here at Total Fitness in Wilmslow, and I got a phone call and someone said, right, listen, do you want to go in Big Brother? And literally I'd just seen my ex-girlfriend there, and it was a horrible breakup and stuff and all that, and I think, I don't know, maybe she told me she was someone else or something ridiculous, do you know what I mean? Something ridiculous like that. Anyway, and they said, do you still want to go in? So I was like, you know what, I would. Yeah, I would. How I feel right now, I would. They went, right, get on a train now, you're going in tomorrow. That's what happened.
But it's just like that?
Like that. I went in. So I literally left here, went to see my little girl and her mum, told them, like, listen, I'm going to go away for a few weeks. I'm doing this thing, which was
well, so you didn't tell them you was actually going in?
Yeah, no, I told them. So all my I kind of met up with everyone. Everyone kind of knew I was going in and stuff like that. In retrospect now, I shouldn't have made that decision emotional and bad, especially because, I mean, my daughter was actually going away for part of the summer, which was part of it. I was having a really bad time of becoming a dad, in the sense of when I didn't have Mia, I wasn't happy. When I didn't have my daughter, I was really not happy. My only happiness was with her. Yeah. So I was going through all these kind of change at the time. I didn't have anything happy in my life apart from my daughter. Gave up my job, come out of a relationship. So I was just lost, and I made a decision that I shouldn't have done like that. Do you know what I mean? Yeah, I'm doing it. That's it. Fuck it, I'm doing it. Went to London, went in Big Brother house the next day.
How did it go? Like,
horrible. Like,
how long was you in it for?
Like 7 weeks, something like that.
You was in there for 7 weeks?
Yeah, maybe less, 6 weeks, 7 weeks, something like that.
Did you win it?
No. I just cried, mate, the whole time.
Really?
Oh, it was horrible. Like the first...
So did you have like I don't know where I was when this was happening.
It was horrible, mate.
What did the media make of you?
Nothing really, because I was a bit of a non-character, I think. Do you know what I mean? Like I was a bit of a... Yeah, I was a bit of a non-character. I mean, the horrible thing was,
You wasn't
I still
performing.
did it. Yeah, when I come out, this was the funny thing. So then I came out, I literally spent the whole time, there was me and there was a lad who I did got on me there, and everyone will testify this who was in there. I literally spent the whole time going, vote for us because I want to go out this week. Like, and if you go, they do weird things like threaten you and be like, if you quit, you're not going to get your interview and you're not going to get your money because you get paid when you're in there, and you're not going to get this. Now remember, you're doing this because you're going to make money out of this for your daughter. You'll make money out of this. You'll get interviewed. So you were kind of, and you was like, right, I'm 3 weeks in now. And yeah, you know what, I'm going to make a few quid and I'll be able to put it. And I did make a few quid out of it and stuff for her, which has been put away from her. So that was like brilliant. But you were kind of bullied in staying there. I was literally in there every day, like literally, which means you're a bit of an idiot. Why did you do it then? Do you know what I mean? If don't say you're going to quit and don't quit.
So did you learn anything from the experience?
Just that one, that people aren't who they say they are.
Yeah.
Do you know what I mean? 2, to not make decisions when you're emotional. You know, that whole thing of, and it's a Plato philosophy as well, where he says don't trust your emotions when making decisions, which we're kind of told to go with how you feel, but how you feel completely determines what your decision is going to be. And feelings are like a momentary possession, do you know what I mean? So when I'm angry, I'm being possessed by Mars, like the god of war, do you know what I mean? And when I'm super infatuated and in love and being possessed by someone, don't make a decision like that. You're off your head, do you know what I mean? You're not you.
So you get a bit more grounded.
And I made a decision that impacted on me, my child, my family, my own mental health. Like, I was looking back at it now, I was flipping. The last few weeks I was in a mess in there, man. Like, just hated it. Didn't like the people in there. Didn't connect with anyone in there. I had all this other stuff in my mind that was changing, and I'm actually incredibly private. I like being on my own. I like being in my own space. I love meditation because I like being on my own as well. Do you know what I mean? So going on there, where you've got all these things, it was just like torture, man. It was mental. Do you know what I mean? But then coming out of it, and then you realise people who thought were friends, and they were all selling stories on you, and all that sort of stuff happened a lot. So it was great because you were questioning. That really pushed me into spirituality and yoga then, and back to family.
So do you think it all synchronised?
Yeah, that was there.
In that direction.
That was there to make me go, you know, this life that you're trying to step away from, this is like an amplified version of it, where people want to be famous and they want to have money and they want to have all these things. That's where you are now, and you go into like clubs in London and your drinks are paid for, and you sleep with people and there's drugs everywhere and there's celebrities, and you're dead good because you're in a VIP. It was like an amplified version of what I was trying to walk away from. Yeah. And what happens is,
first night trying to suck you back in. It's
massive. This is great. This is great, and everyone loves your look. Everyone wants to have a picture. And what you realise is, the minute you stop drinking and you step back and you go, this is fucking horrible. Like, this is horrendous. Like, this is,
to view it sober
I feel crazy,
so interesting, isn't it?
Like, this is horrible. Like, this is. So then what it made me do was go, I don't just not like that. I don't like the stuff I was stepping away from. It's all gone. It's gone. Everything. So I came out. I remember literally telling my agent, because I was half living in London, half up here, this is it. I ain't coming back. I'm not doing any of this stuff anymore. I'm gone. It was mega. Thank you so much for the experience. Blah, blah, blah. Brilliant. Henry God turns him. This is it. As it was, they probably didn't have any use for me anyway, do you know what I mean? So they were probably glad that they weren't having to find me work and stuff and try and get me in papers anymore. But and then I came back, and then that was it. It was kind of full throttle into sort your life out now. Do you know what I mean? This is your thing.
What did you do to sort your life
from
out?
That, I was a yoga, I'd been practicing yoga then, and I think at that stage I was already qualified as a yoga teacher. And I wasn't teaching it, and I wasn't really practicing it. And what I did my yoga teacher training was, I wanted to understand yoga, not to do postures, because I'm already a sports therapist and a personal trainer. I'd done all that sort of stuff. And my first course was just all anatomical. It was just this muscle and that muscle, and it was a lesser grade of knowledge than I already had from my qualifications.
Right. Okay.
So when I came out of that, I was like, right, I need to go back to all my fundamentals. I even went back to like religion for a period of time, and I started reading the Bible again, and then fell more and more, just literally fell more and more into yoga, but the physical aspect of it more. And then out of that came, I need to research this, like I want to understand what it is and the philosophy and stuff. So,
but did you find you were changing through the practice as well, though?
Yeah,
through the
but
physical
through
practice?
Understanding kind of the philosophy of yoga more, like not the physical practice so much. But the physical practice was because I was still using that as exercise. I was still in that kind of mental state of going, get stronger, get fitter, what would be this physical specimen and all that sort of stuff. When I started then reading more, and back then, this is like what, over 10 years ago still. It's like 10 years ago. The internet was rubbish. It's not like now. You couldn't find stuff out about yoga and philosophy. Do you know what I mean? There was like hardly anything out there. And then out of that, I had no job. Like, so I kind of didn't know what career, fitness stuff I'd done like years before and things. I'd probably had, at this stage, maybe it's like a year off, like what my previous occupation was, doing fitness and sports rehabilitation things. So you kind of have to throw yourself into something, don't you? So the main thing throwing yourself into was yoga, but understanding it more. Like I say, went back to reading the Bible more and trying to understand spirituality a little bit more and trying to make sense of. I luckily had found a good meditation teacher, and lots of his techniques were reflection, so self-reflection and kind of understanding yourself by understanding what's gone on in the past. So I'd gone back to what had gone on as a kid, through religion and politics with my parents, and then this whole thing of partying and drugs and women, and then coming away from that, and then London and all that mentalness. So I didn't know where I wanted to go. I just knew I didn't want any of that anymore. Do you know what I mean? And I kind of wanted to be left alone a little bit. But then what ended up happening was I kind of fell back into it a little bit. Maybe a couple of years into being a yoga teacher, got into a relationship, and that kind of relationship, not because of the person, just because that's what happened, kind of fell back into going out a bit. And I think because there was a bit of there was only like 5 or 6 year gap. But when I was by this time I'm in my late 20s. In my late 20s, I've got a 10-year-old child. So I'm not like a person in the late 20s, do you know what I mean? And I changed. I wasn't the same person I was. Now this person was still that young person in their 20s, early 20s. So wanting to go out and wanting to do that, which is fine, do you know what I mean? But when you're kind of in a relationship where you have completely different thought processes on everything, it's just not a good reaction. So then what naturally happened was I was kind of forcing myself to be a little bit back in that world, to stay in my relationship, because that's where my relationship was. And, I was in a relationship with someone and I liked him, do you know what I mean? But really hating it, literally hating it, which was bad because then that impacts on the relationship, because I would obviously, somewhere deep down, I would hold her at, he's loud, isn't he? I would harbour resentment to her that she wasn't like me and didn't want to do yoga and didn't want to read the Bible and do spiritual, which who does in the early 20s, do you know what I mean? But so I realise that now, going, God, I was probably resentful. I was resentful of that. She's probably resentful of the fact that I'd go out and not really enjoy it and stuff, being with her mates and being in bars and all that sort of stuff. So so that I've kind of slipped back into it. And then luckily, again, the pull out is always my upbringing in what I wouldn't say is religion, is spirituality, and my daughter. Do you know what I mean?
So like always was your grounding.
They're always the things that pull us out. And again, both of them go, that's who you are. Yeah. Do you know, that's when you're happiest. That's who you should be. Do you know what I mean? You don't. And then,
because part of me feels like when I was going out, when I was partying all the time, it was an element of performance there. I was performing to be a person.
Yeah, definitely.
And I still find it now. Do you know, when I go and see certain mates, I find that I behave in a way that I used to behave in, and I'm like, oh shit, and I can recognise it, and I'm like, I don't have to be crass. I don't have to be like talking about sex all the time. I don't have to be. I can catch myself and go right. Let's bring it back to the heart. Let's bring it back to the essence.
Yeah. That it exactly hits with me, mate. Definitely that it was just, it's almost kind of being almost schizophrenic a little bit. Do you know what I mean? And again, being a little bit embarrassed, even a stronger word, even ashamed of the real person who you was, because my family were religious. Yoga, they have a different understanding of it now, but again, back then was yoga's wrong, it's from the devil, do you know what I mean? It's not right, it's occult practice and all this. So I had that going on, dad who kind of would take it, like parents do take an interest, but he's not bothered about flipping yoga and stuff. My mates who just thought, well, I was just known as, when they started realising that I was doing yoga, it's just known as, it's one of them things. Do you know what I mean? It's just, this is his new drug. That's it. It's because he's not taking drugs anymore. This is what he's doing to now be cool and be that. And it want that, do you know what I mean? So I'd hide it all the time. So it's horrible. You're just kind of living in with two people in your head all the time. I'm going to be, like you said, this person now. And then when I'm not in a relationship, I'll be this person, the real me. It was mental. And then I can't remember at which point, obviously coming out of that final relationship was the final trigger. And I think that was the final step along. I said every relationship, it was like another step away and another step away and another step away. That was the final one where I was like, flipping it, you're a grown up now. You can probably just start being who you want to be.
Was this when you come into your 30?
So this was like
Saturn
30s.
returns.
Yeah.
Did you find Saturn returns? Because you're into your
like 33 degrees and stuff as well. Yeah. Like as well, leading to I had a bit of a thing in my head, the number 33 leading into that and the Hodges thing stuff.
Did you grow your hair? Did you grow your hair at that time?
I did have head on it.
Me too, mate.
Like here, like full on beard, like full on like fucking hell, like the
we need to compare pictures of that.
Do you know what I mean? That's when I started getting all the tattoos and stuff as well, and it was. And even at that stage, I didn't understand. I'm still trying to understand yoga now and spirituality. I'm not, I'm no authority on it. I just kind of have my own experience of it and understand being a dad and all that other stuff. But back then, I really didn't understand the experience like at all. I really didn't understand what yoga was taking me towards, which was that self-acceptance. Just be who you are. That's all you need to be, man. Yeah. You don't need to be anything else. You don't even need to be super mega amazing yoga posture person. You just need to be who you are and stuff. Yeah. So I can't remember at what point that was, but it's definitely coming out of that relationship. I was fortunate enough to finally get with one of my friends who's a girl I'd known for like 9 years, Louise, who's just an incredible human being. I mean, she's beautiful and stuff, but she's the most yogic person, including my swamis, I have ever met. And she practices yoga with me, but it's not like me, we practice every day and he's reading all this sort of stuff. She's just a human who is naturally kind, patient, herself, not ashamed of anything. Like it doesn't put on a pretense, doesn't have to be involved in stuff, doesn't feel, has absolutely no leanings towards money or power or anything, to the point of our only thing that we've kind of as a couple kind of worked on a little bit, because we're always trying to help each one work on each other a little bit, which is the mega thing about our relationship, but that she's probably too self-sacrificing. I'd never been around anyone like that apart from my mum and my sisters.
So just naturally motherly.
None of my mates weren't like that. The girls who I knew weren't like that. Do you know what I mean? And none of my relationships, there was no one like that at all. So just being around her as a mate first of all was mega, and then finally got with her. And then I say now, like, there's again another Plato thing. He says, like, get with a partner who'll change you. Choose a partner who will change you. In meaning that, he said that you get close to someone who you admire, who you want to be like, and by being around them, you start to become them. And that's what she is for me. She was my final pull, and she's the first person in my life, not just relationship, friends, everything, who's, I'll come back with flipping singing bowls, and I'll go, I want to go and like be on a silent retreat for like 3 days, I want to go, like now I'm trying to find another course and stuff and things, and I want to ring Swami, because I still see Swami on video phone and stuff. It's never an issue with her. She's never bothered. She's I'm allowed to do whatever, meditate as long as I want, and as long as I'm part of the family and things like that. She's never tried to change me. She never puts it down. She's always interested in it. It's like she's just an incredible human.
So is she a lot more chilled than you?
She's just unbelievable.
You're quite movement and stuff,
energy and stuff, things like that. She's super calm, and she's just an incredible energy and person to be around, man. She's just got that yoga thing. She's just got it and stuff. And so she was the final not push, but she was the final person to unlock that door.
Final piece in your jigsaw.
Yeah, and then since being with her, it's just been...
And when did that start? How old was you?
So we're 5 years in now, I think, 5 or 6 years in.
And you're a year younger than me,
5
so
years in.
30, 31.
Yeah, 31, yeah.
So
31.
just before you started growing your hair.
Yeah.
You started growing your hair.
My hair was growing then. But yeah, it was through her and it was down there, yeah. But yeah, 5 years in maybe now, 4 or 5 years in.
Amazing,
yeah, 5 years
amazing.
in. But yeah, so she was the final piece.
Yeah, and now you got 2 little kids.
And then we've had 2 children together, yeah. Who are, again, obviously now being a parent at 36 now, 37, 36 now, is completely different from being a parent at 19. Do you know what I mean?
Of course.
And you kind of learn from all those mistakes that you made and things that when you were 19, and you kind of hopefully don't make the same mistakes again. And you can, because I'm in a relationship now, I wasn't in a relationship, me and Mia's mum were in a relationship and stuff. So the experience is completely different and stuff. And what's really good is that Mia, my eldest, who's now coming up 17, who's again, she's just a yogi. I don't know how she's got it. She's just a yogi. She's incredible, amazing human and stuff. But again, the lessons that I kind of learned from my 2 younger children are me kind of going, yeah, don't act in that way and don't act in that way. And like I was saying before, be more like kids, how they act. With Mia, she can actually tell me, do you know what I mean? Which is top. She'll actually say, yeah, Dad, that's how that was. And they used to do that, and that's, so you kind of, now she's at an age of going, right, how can I improve as like a dad and a person and
so are you finding,
she gives me that now.
Are you finding that she's teaching you? You're allowing her to teach you?
Yeah, and that's, but in a different way. Like I kind of use, like I say, I use my 2 younger kids and Louise to learn off with, kind of out and knowing, because obviously the 2 youngest can't really know that I'm
learning from you right now.
Like I watch, like we say all the time, like when I'm trying to write blogs and stuff, they're always based on kind of looking at the kids and stuff and going, right, what they do and how they react to that, what they do, and all that sort of stuff. Mia, I can speak to her, and because she's super intelligent and she's incredible and she's amazing, she's really good at articulating that stuff across. Do you know what I mean? So I can have massive, like, full-on open discussions with her about everything. We've spoke about drugs and sex and everything, do you know what I mean? And so I learn off her in an actual teachery way, which I'm pretty not really sure how that's the setup, do you know what I mean? I think I'm meant to be teaching her, but it just works out. She's incredible, man.
Just being able to have them conversations with an adult when you're that age, it must be so enriching. Like, I had no one to talk about any of that stuff
Nothing.
with. We just fucked it all up.
Fucked
it up until eventually we were like, okay.
Eventually you kind of, you're lucky enough that you stumbled across it.
Yeah.
Don't you always think that, like you look back at how your life, again, not too much or anything, but friends of mine or people I know whose life did go another way, and some of them, are dead now, and have died of drugs, or they've been killed and stuff,
or in prison,
and stuff like that, and you go, my life could have gone that way, and I was just lucky that it didn't. That's all it was. I was lucky.
And when I was starting on that path, there was so many opportunities where it was like the universe kind of brought that back into my life and was like, oh, here's loads of fruit, here's loads of experience for you to have back in that world. Do you want to take it? Do you want to take it? And it was, it was big. It was like big opportunities, and I was just like, I can't. I can't. I'm committed to this now. Don't want to get dragged back into that. I know it's not right, but then it's like dangling a cherry every now and again, and you're like, oh no, I can't. I can't.
Yeah. Better left in memories, isn't it? Like, all that whole world, I would say, glad for the memories of it, and it's brilliant, but it's better left in my memories, I think. Yeah.
And you wouldn't be where you are now if you hadn't, experienced all that stuff.
No, without, I actually put that on social media today. Every decision that you've made, every choice that you've made, every experience that you've had, they've led you to where you are right now, aren't they? So they're good, do you know what I mean?
Yeah, totally.
Even the heartbreak, the pain of stuff.
You can't regret any of it.
Brilliant, because I definitely wouldn't be able to be reflective over any of that stuff if I hadn't been through any pain. Definitely. Yeah,
it's the pain and the darkness that you learn the most from that brings in the light. Yeah. So it's lovely, beautiful. So your personal practice is yoga. What does it consist of? What do you have, a daily practice or? Yeah,
so mine. So I have kind of 2 things that I've taken from, and amongst loads of things. Funnily enough, I don't actually teach the yoga I practice stuff, which is funny because it's, I think it's more accessible. When I teach, I'm trying to teach for people. Do you know what I mean? So I'm going, what can I think I can teach you? What can I get you to learn and help you with? So I'm going to teach that and things, particularly the modern day class. So my personal stuff is a different relationship. It's what works for me. So it's what helps me. In my life, I need discipline. Do you know what I mean? I haven't naturally got discipline. I enjoy chaos.
Yeah.
Like, I enjoy it. I like it. I like making a decision, which got me, it's been a disaster in the past, but I kind of like plans changing all the time. If for example, someone's going, you're going out, let's go out at 4, and then they rang us back and went, you're going out at 6. That won't bother me.
Yeah.
But other people, they'd have a meltdown and stuff with it, and I kind of like that chaos, and we're going one place, we're not going there now, we're going another place. But the problem is, when your whole life's like that, it's a disaster, isn't it? Yeah. Do you know what I mean? Because you're just not organised enough. So yoga, I have my personal practice to give me discipline. And the fact that I have a daily practice, and the fact that I have to, and I have this little saying to myself, just do your practice. Just do your practice.
So do you get up first thing in the morning?
So I have two. So my morning practice, I get up in the morning, which is just meditation and breathing technique and journaling. I used to do a full physical practice in the morning, but then my first session's at like 6:15 or 6:30 in the morning. So what I found was, there's only so early you can get up. Do you know what I mean? And luckily, since the two youngest were born, so Eli's like 2.5 now, he gets up at the same time as me. He actually sleeps in now, but he always gets up at like 5 o'clock, 5:15. And then from a baby, he'd be plonked there. But what was happening was, I'd do stuff with him and then stop. So then my practice was getting faster and faster and faster and faster and faster. And then I found what I was doing was, I was kind of waking up to do my practice, because I had to do my practice, because I got into yoga, which I said to you, because I couldn't sleep. It was insomnia that brought me into yoga. Yeah. So like my morning practice is there to set me for the day. So I had to take all the physical postures out, because I was just rushing. So then I've taken some stuff I've learnt off Swami. So I get up, I have like a very specific daily routine. Don't go anywhere near my phone. Don't go anywhere near TV. I have a glass of water. Then I sit down, I stretch out my body, mobilise a little bit, go through certain breathing technique practices, then stop, then meditate, and then a journal, then bang, my day's going, that's it. So that's out of everything I do, that's the most important part of my practice. About 15 minutes, it's not long. Okay. Then my evening thing, which is either afternoon before I teach, so like 4 o'clock, and if I don't get that done, I do it in the evening before I go to bed. That's what I've taken from Swami in India, so that's predominantly breathing technique. Lots of breath retention is like his big thing, so lots of hyperventilation techniques, and then kumbhaka, so you hold your breath or you retain the breath outside the body, and you're basically getting into your mind, you're lowering the oxygen levels in your body, so you become a little bit vacant mind, you get into like different conscious states, and then from that I find that meditation is deeper. I find it works for me, so I'm in meditation, and then I'll do my physical practice. And my physical practice that I took from him is kind of the complete opposite of what a classical modern day practice is. So instead of starting with like sun cells and then it gets less and less physical and becomes more flow sequence, he was the opposite. So he does breathing technique, mantra, and then you start on the floor and it's all bowing, because you're meant to be submissive. So you're bowing, so it's lots of forward folds on the floor, long holds, 3 minutes, 5 minutes, like really passive. And then you end with sun cells. So when your body's open, you end, or just get you more and more dynamic. And
does that leave you with more fire to leave the practice?
No, you know what it leaves me, because I do it predominantly in the evening, late at night, before I go to bed. The dynamic aspect is really connected to breath, so it's full on. And I've kind of moved it on or changed it a little bit from what Swami had. So it involves more flow, but it is literally breath in, move, breath out, move, breath in, move, breath out, move. But it's really dance-like. So it's really fluid, so it's meditative. So even though it's becoming, I'm moving, it feels
so you're like moving in each posture that you're holding?
Yeah, not holding it. So the final part, I'm not holding at all.
Right, okay.
So the opening part of it is long holds, 3 minutes, 3 to 5 minutes, don't move.
So it's not like synergy yoga.
Meditate in your body. No, so you're so basically like an expanded sun cell, as in like you'll breathe into expanding postures, breath out. So I'll breathe into one posture, but really lengthen out and feel it right to my fingertips, so it becomes really super essentially connected, and then I'll breathe in, move into another one, but there's actually no pause, so it's just breath in,
so you're
there,
really flowing,
breath out there, breath in there, breath out there. But for me, it works for me, do you know what I mean? But I've tried to teach it a few times, and because there was so much that I took from Swami. I don't get the final benefit of moving like that happens because you've done all the other stuff.
Yeah.
And teaching all the other stuff, it's hard in a class of 30 people walking in. Do you know what I mean? You end up just tutorialing everything, and you then ruin the experience for them. So I do it with like my one-to-ones. Some of those I do it in some workshops. I'm doing a bit of a workshop this weekend. But yeah, my personal practice is, it's not really like it's a weird thing. Well, I don't really do it, even though I enjoy it massively for enjoyment. But it literally structures my entire life. Like everything, like I get all my discipline from it. I get all my mental focus from it. It helps me. It's the only thing that cured my sleep. And now I have like incredible sleep. My relationship with sleep's unbelievable. It's amazing.
Do you go to bed early?
And now, this is only in the last 6 months though, because yoga techniques helps me get to sleep. That's why I came to it in the first place. It was always breathing technique and meditation. That was like the foundation of all my practice. But then I had a really bad relationship with sleep still. I was still that idiot up until literally a year ago. So a year ago last April, when there was a podcast that come out and then a book not long after that, Why Do We Sleep? Or How Do We Sleep? Why Do We Sleep? And
who's it by?
I can't think of his name, but if you Google that, he said neuroscientist. It's incredible. He don't give you any sleep techniques.
We'll find that out. We'll put that in the show notes.
He scares you to no enjoyment of sleep, which is directly linked to enjoying life, because without sleep your brain doesn't operate properly, and living longer, which is mental. So I don't enjoy probably one of the, apart from breathing, the most important thing. Do you know what I mean? Mental. Read his book and was like, I've got to change everything. So now don't work in the bedroom at all. Don't have a telly in the bedroom. Don't use telly in the bedroom stuff. I go to sleep at 10 o'clock. I don't work before I go to bed. I do my yoga practice. I'm in bed by 10 o'clock, and if I'm not asleep by 10:30, I'm stressed or there's something going wrong. And then I can get up at like 5:15, bang. And at weekends it stays the same, unless we're going out. But even if we go out at weekend and stuff, which I've got kids now, that's rare. But I'll still get up at the same time. I'll keep myself in that rhythm and routine. It's the best thing.
So is that,
I love it, man. Someone who's
listening to the podcast, would that be your major thing of having like a personal practice, like a disciplined practice, that I get up in the morning and do this, or I do something at night? And is there anything you'd recommend people, like something simple you could just describe over the podcast?
Morning routine, because your morning routine is going to determine or have a massive determining factor on how the rest of your day goes. And there's like the saying of, if you have a positive morning, successful morning, start your day with success, have a successful morning, that will lead to a successful day. Successful days lead to successful weeks a successful month, successful years, successful lifetime. And success in the sense of happy, achieve things, grow as a person, all the great things that we need to be. So those first 15 minutes of life determine that. You won't have a good life, you start the day good.
That's why I start with what mantra I'm doing at the moment is thy will be done this day. Today is the day of completion. I give thanks for this day. Miracle shall follow miracle, and wonders shall never cease. And sometimes I put a fucking never cease in there just because it's Mancunian. I like it. But
morning's the stuff.
Morning.
Get up.
It's done then as well. You're not like, if you don't do it in the morning, you're thinking about it all day. I need to get it in. I need to get it in. If you just get up, commit, bosh, done, get on with your day. Be magnificent.
Like you, how do you, after that, how do you feel like as a human?
Great, man. Great.
You're closer to being the best version of you, aren't you?
Yeah.
So I'm a bit one-to-ones. That's our main thing. You want to act in imagine if you could act in every situation, the best version of you, not possessed by anger and war and hate and fear and all those sort of things. Well, your morning practice gives you more opportunity of that, because I'll finish that and be like calm, focused, ready for the day, motivated. So I'm just going to be, at least for the next few hours, better human to be around, better dad, better partner, better yoga teacher. I'm just going to be not perfect, I'm just going to be a better version. So why the hell wouldn't you do that stuff, man?
And that's what this self-improvement does as well. You're not just being selfish about, I'm being a better person for me. It actually implements everybody's around you. Everyone you come in contact with, you're a nicer human being for them. And you
change their life then.
You're a nicer driver on the road, you know what I mean? Everything.
That's our way of changing the world. You know, that whole thing of, you can't change the world. As much as I love protesting, that isn't going to change the world. The only thing that's going to change the world is you change yourself. That's it.
Yeah.
Someone's dropped something, you run over and help them, you hold the door. You're just a better human. So every single person you meet, their day gets lifted up. So you change the world. Like you literally change not just one world, you change everyone you meet. So say you meet 50 people that day, you've changed 50 worlds that day, just from how you've been as a person. That's it. That's magic.
Your energy's good. Your good energy's going into their energy field. It's lifting them a little bit.
And you see it in people though, don't you? Do you know what I mean? You see it.
You see the shock in some people sometimes when you do something for them and they're like, what?
Just be a good person. Do good for someone. And you can only do that if I can do that when I'm connected to that best version of me. When I've got all that other stuff in my mind, I wake up in the morning and I look at my phone straight away and I've got all my emails and I'm stressed, and then I put the news on and then I'm having stimulants and all that. I'm like that. You know, your mind's going mental. So I've got all that stuff. Then I've got to go and interact with humans. No chance, man. Do all the stuff. So I'm like, right, I'm ready. I'm going to change the world. That's it. Change the world.
And it has a good knock-on effect to everything. Like I do my practice now, and like I'm not like, I need to have a big breakfast. I'm just like, I'll eat when I feel, I feel ready to eat. It's not like a pressure on me to get. I don't go right. I've got to get my meal in now. Like I try, I fast a lot. I fast once a week. That's a discipline thing as well. It's like I fast on a Tuesday. And then I try and do extended fast from going to bed at night to like maybe I won't eat until 12. And like Jesus was the thing, eat when the sun's at the highest and eat when the sun's going down. And I'm not quite there yet, but that's, it's an ambition. It resonates me when I read that. The Book of the Essenes, probably read it, how he operates and things. And I'm trying to bring that more into live like Jesus. This isn't a big Jesus podcast or anything, but the guy was a G, you know what I mean? He was smashed it out of the park.
Like just one of the most misunderstood characters in history and theology, whatever it is. Like the guy was a revolutionary, do you know what I mean? He was like smashing things up, like tactically. He was top. And then his main thing was love. Love, do you know what I mean? There's a dude walking around just saying, love one another.
Demanding
to other guys. Do you know, to other guys as well. He was telling other guys to love. Nowadays, I like we were saying at the start, it's moving to that way. Imagine you just go around to tell other males, just love one another.
But even men now, like in the pub now, you can cuddle your mates, give people a hug. When we were kids, it was like you might have just about got an handshake. Touching was not a thing with your mates. You know,
nothing.
Ecstasy brought that out in me a lot, and I think every drug experience, in a way, opens a different avenue. It's when you start abusing it. There's something beautiful about drug experiences that open your heart, like ecstasy opens your heart. Cannabis can open your creativity, but it's then when you start abusing them.
It's the relationship you build with those things.
They're supposed to be ceremonial. They're supposed to be like, this is what's going to open up.
That's what we do as humans, don't we? We build.
Get something and abuse it until it's like, I've destroyed us, or we've got a problem with it.
And again, shame. And I think that was, I know we're probably wrapping it up soon, but one of the big things is, calling back to why I kept falling back into that trap of going out again and going out again and going out again. When you review it, that's born out with guilt, man. That's the thing of that, where you'll go out, get drunk, or take drugs, or party, or sleep with someone, or all those sort of things, and you wake up the next morning and you feel guilty for your actions. Particularly when I was a dad and stuff as well, you'd go, you're a dad, you shouldn't be doing that, rah, rah, rah. So then what happens is you don't really feel fulfilled by the experience. So then you want to do it again. It's like with chocolate. So like what we all do nowadays, why we've got an addiction to bad foods and stuff. You'll eat chocolate or have a can of Coke, whatever it is, and you go, you shouldn't have had that. You're an idiot. You're on a diet. Da, da, da. Instead of just having the thing and going, it's nice that. I love it. I've got everything I need from it. Feel completely fulfilled by that experience. I'm not going to have it tomorrow. But because you put guilt in there, your brain goes, you didn't really have it, so I want it again. And then you build up those like addictions and cravings. That's out of a society thing. Do you know what I mean? Of just feel guilty about how you're acting and stuff, feel guilty, and then you demonize drug experience, even alcohol, do you know what I mean, and stuff. There's a place for all those things if you want to do all that sort of stuff. But as a society, we just need to probably stop judging people quite so much, and then maybe less will have bad experiences.
Exactly, and just go back to you can't change the world by having a go at the way people behave. All you can do is change your own behaviour. And
there's laws in place when people step out of line, so don't worry about what they do in their own time. Do you know what I mean? I always think that stuff. Why do you care what someone's doing in their own house? As long as it's not breaking a law and not hurting anyone. I just don't care. If it's making your life cool, crack on, do whatever you want to do.
Right, Stu, right, we've got to come to an end, and I think we should probably do this again, because there's loads of other stuff I want to talk to you about. I want to talk to you about your Swami, I want to talk to you about going to India, I want to talk to you about your planets and you kind of being into the solar system. What do you call, what's it called? Man. Sacred geometry, astrology.
Numbers, numerology.
So at some point we will have to do this again, and I've really enjoyed it. And it's been good to get your story, man, because I haven't seen you since school, and I've seen you a couple of times recently, and I'm like, I want to fucking ask him some questions. You know what I mean? Where's he been? Like, you've been in Big Brother, man. It's mental. So yes, mate. So guys, that is the Dealer to Healer podcast. We've got an amazing guest coming up for you on the next show. Her name's Wing Carter. She's been battling. No, she's not been battling. She's been kicking the arse of cancer for 20 years, and she's got some powerful insights on just how to stay positive, how to keep on your path, and how to just go, do you know what? I'm doing this for me, and I'm going to be empowered, and I'm going to be brave. And this is a brave woman. It's probably one of the bravest people I'll ever have on this show. So keep tuned in for the next show. Take it easy. Peace and love.
Cheers, dude.
Bye-bye.
See you, man.
Wow, guys, thank you so much for listening to the show. That was Stuart Pilkington. What an amazing, amazing man. What an amazing human being. What a great story. I just want to thank Stuart from the bottom of my heart for sharing, some personal details and some cracking insights for us all to take advice and inspiration from. There was a lot of inspiration in there, a lot of inspiring things. Just basically his daily practice and his commitment to yoga, his commitment to his family, his commitment to his studio. He has this thing called, in yoga, it's one of the niyamas, it's called tapas, and it's this grit and determination, and he's definitely got a lot of tapas. And beautiful human being. Thank you very much, Stuart. Thank you to you guys for listening to the first Dealer to Healer podcast. We've done it. Woo! Yes, 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 yes. We can't do the first one again. That was it. We cannot break the cherry once more. So again, thank you. Check out my website, www.liambrown.com. You can find the podcast on there. All the links, everything that Stuart talked about is on there in the show notes. Also, Fern Cotton's podcast, it's amazing. Happy Place, Happy Space, something like that. You'll find it. Fern Cotton's podcast, wherever you get your podcast, go and have a listen to that. She's really has some lovely people on the show, some lovely stories, some lovely things that are being shared that can inspire. Russell Brand's podcast, I love. Get over to that, have a listen to that. Green Planet, Blue Planet, another amazing podcast about consciousness, about expanding, about community, about moving away from governmental control. Another beautiful podcast. So there's so much information out there that I want to share with you guys. Let's keep doing this. Again, go to Dealer to Healer, my book. You can get it on Amazon, free for 5 days. So from today, this is the 11th of November 2019. If you're not listening to it today, forget about this. If you're a year ahead, you can't get the book for free anymore. I'm very sorry. Maybe send me a really nice email and I might be able to sort something out, but it'd have to be really, really nice. But 5 days, this book is for free on Amazon, on Kindle. Then it will be going up to its full price. So please, if you're getting it for free, do me the honor of writing me a review. That would be amazing. I hope you've enjoyed the show. Thank you for joining me for the first Dealer to Healer podcast. We've got more coming up. Have a beautiful week, everybody. All my love from my heart. Namaste, blessings. Have a top one. Peace and love. Booyah.
You to bless my soul.
Thank you so much for listening to the Dealers to Healer podcast. Please stay tuned for more episodes of transformation, of metamorphosis, of people becoming the most beautiful version of themselves and teaching you, the listeners, how to become the most beautiful version of yourself. So if you want all that information, all that knowledge, all these amazing guests that I've got on my show, please subscribe. There's a subscribe button somewhere on this screen, so please just link onto that. You'll get a notification straight away of any new episodes, and I promise you I've got epic guests coming up, so please stay tuned. If you want to know anything else about the Dealer to Healer movement, of what I've got going on, about my links to the book, links to my website, links to my music, everything, please go in the description below. It's just down there somewhere. You just hit description and everything, it'll tell you everything. So nice one. Have a beautiful day. Take it easy, and remember, please subscribe. That would be amazing. Peace.